Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Rellinger. Today is Monday, May the 11th. I hope that you had a good weekend and you were able to celebrate with your mom yesterday for Mother's Day. Maybe you were able to do Mrs. T's lesson last Thursday and write something special for her and do the directed drawing on Friday and give her a little present. Hopefully, it was a really special day. So today we're first going to review our sight words we've been working on in the last few weeks and learn some new ones and hear a story. Okay, so the first one, what's this word? Earth. About. Before. Done. Even. Every. Move. Great. For. City. Laugh. Boy. Away. Change. School. And near. All right, good job. So our new ones, if you'd like to pause it and grab a piece of paper so you can write these down, that's really important that you remember them. So go ahead and go grab a piece of paper. All right, so our first one for today is the word by. And this is a homophone, which means it's a word that sounds the same, but spelled different, and it means something different. So this buy is the kind where you go to the store and you pay money for something and you get something in return. So like if you want to go buy a piece of candy. So B-U-Y, buy. I'm going to put it up here. We're going to arm tap it once, and then you could do it 2 more times for practice. Okay, so ready? Buy, buy, B-U-Y, buy. All right, you can do it 2 more times. Next word is only, O-N-L-Y, only, which means just one of something. So like I was the only girl at the play, so only. Let's tap it, let's load it and tap it. Only, O-N-L-Y, only. You do it 2 more times. Okay, next one is the word through, and again, this is another homophone. There's another word through, like he threw the ball. That's not what this is. This is like going in between something. You're going through it, so through. And this is a longer word, so when we are arm tapping it, you got to start way up here at your shoulder and go all the way to your fingertips. So through, T-H-R-O-U-G-H, through. Kind of a tricky one. Do that a couple more times. And the next one is walk. I'm going to go for a walk later. Walk. All right, so walk. W-A-L-K. Walk. All right, you tap it 2 more times. All right, so our new words: by, only, through, and walk. Practice those this week, okay? All right, so the story that I'm going to share with you today is written by one of my very favorite authors, Eric Carle. Maybe you have heard of some of his books before. He's got lots of really good ones. And this one is called Slowly, 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 Said the Sloth. And I want you to pay attention. What are these little marks right here? These 2 little marks. They look like C's here and backward C's. Remember what those are called? Quotation marks. And what does that mean? Somebody is talking, and in this title it's Said the Sloth. Who's talking? The sloth. Does anyone know anything about sloths? I had to look up some things because I wanted to learn some more information. So I looked up and learned some things about sloths that I want to tell you about before we read this story. So sloths are mammals, and he and she, these mammals, spend most of their life hanging upside down in trees. So they hang upside down. There's 2 different kinds of sloths. Some of them have 3 toes, some have 2 toes, and it helps them hook on and move from tree to tree. And they sleep for 18 to 19 hours a day. So there's only 24 hours a day, and they spend lots of their time sleeping. And one thing I read was they sleep with their heads on their bellies. They lay their heads down on their bellies and go to sleep. Isn't that funny? So that's what sloths do. And another thing that's interesting that I found out, they, as they're living in the treetops in the forest, they have, they get this algae that grows on their hair and fur, and you can kind of see it, and it is green, and it helps them blend in. It helps them camouflage and protects them from other animals that might be looking for them. And also in their fur, this was interesting, some animals live in their fur. They're like a house for other animals. Beetles and moths, some of them like to live in the sloth's fur. So that's kind of an interesting fact about sloths. All right, so I'm going to read you this story. And this, do you think this is a fiction book or a nonfiction book? It's a fiction book, but it does have some kind of, it tells you things about a sloth in here, about the way it is and what it's like. So there is some truth to some of this, but there are some talking animals, and we know if it's a talking animal, it must be fiction, right? So, slowly, 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 said the sloth. And remember, oops, I forgot this back here. When we're reading our story, it's important that readers can retell their stories, and they need to be able to include the important parts. We're going to think about the characters and the setting in this story and what happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end. All right, so slowly, 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 said the sloth, written by Eric Carle. Slowly, 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 a sloth crawled along a branch of a tree. See my pictures? Slowly, 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 the sloth ate a leaf. Slowly, 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 the sloth fell asleep. You can see his head on his belly. Slowly, 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 the sloth woke up. All day long, the sloth hung upside down in the tree. All night long, the sloth hung upside down in the tree. Even when it rained, the sloth hung upside down in the tree. Why are you so slow? The howler monkey asked one day, but the sloth didn't answer. Why are you so quiet? The caiman asked, but the sloth didn't answer. Why are you so boring? The anteater asked, but the sloth didn't answer. Tell me, said the jaguar, why are you so lazy? The sloth thought and thought and thought for a long, long, long time. And finally, the sloth replied, It is true. I am slow, quiet, and boring. I am lackadaisical. I dawdle and I dilly-dally. I'm also unflappable, languid, stoic, impassive, sluggish, lethargic, placid, calm, mellow, laid back, and, well, slothful. I'm relaxed and tranquil, and I like to live in peace, but I am not lazy. Then the sloth yawned and said, That's just how I am. I like to do things slowly, slowly, slowly. That's the end of our book. So, in this story, at the beginning, we learn about, what do we learn about the sloth? It's just the way, what did the story tell us? It just was the way that he was doing things. He was eating slowly, he was moving slowly, sleeping slowly, right? Everything was very slow. And in the middle, what was happening? Other animals were questioning why he was the way he was. And at the end, the sloth, what did he do? He went through and he listed all those things about the way that he moves. There's lots of different words in there, dilly-dally, and dawdling and languid, all those different words that I read on that last page are all words that describe the sloth and how he moved and the way he lived his life. And what did he say? He's not lazy. It's just the way he was. That was another thing that I read about sloths, though. That is just the way they're made. They just can only move slow. They really can't ever even move fast. So he's not being lazy. It's just the way he was made. There's nothing he can do about it. So that was kind of an interesting story about a sloth and just the way that they are. So, all right, with our reading lesson for the week, I want you to go on to Raz Kids. Please go on and do that and practice reading, because remember, all of your teachers have you right at your level in there, and you can pick a book, and I would like you to listen to it and then read it out loud so that your mom or your dad could hear you reading, hear your beautiful reading voice, and then go in and answer the questions. So it's good practice for you being able to retell a story and using your reading skills. And then also go on IXL, and I just have one thing starred for you, and it is S.3, and that's spelling the sight words, which is a really good reading skill. If you can read and write and spell your sight words, it will help with your reading. All right, guys and gals, I hope you have an awesome day today, and I'll be back in a couple days with another reading lesson. See ya.